Seth Rollins returns, Drew McIntyre quits, and finally, the Wyatt family are here, minus Bray Wyatt. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Time to review Monday Night Raw. The big talking point, there's a few talking points tonight, actually quite a lot of talking points, but the big one, of course, is the fact that the Wyatt family are here. Obviously, you're getting people on Twitter saying this is perfection. The Triple H Promoter and Booker of the Year wallpaper is getting posted every 5 seconds. People are freaking out, but in reality, it's a bunch of bums pretty much just taking what Bray Wyatt was doing and recycling it. And what we're going to get is something that isn't as good as what Bray Wyatt was doing. And in all fairness, what Bray Wyatt was doing wasn't even that good. So I don't get excited here. I fail to see why this whole Wyatt family thing is going to be a success. You touched on the fact that in 2024, things like this, gimmicks like this, supernatural things like this just don't work. Do you want to explain why?
I'll elaborate on that, yes, because I feel like, wrestling has been around for a long time, but I feel like this paranormal stuff, with kayfabe just being completely freaking dead. It worked in the 80s, it worked in the 90s, hell, I think it worked pretty much up until WWE went PG, and I'm not saying they haven't done stuff since then, right, because obviously we've seen things like Matt Hardy, we've seen The Undertaker exist, but Undertaker said a few weeks ago in his podcast that the character of The Undertaker just wouldn't work today, and I completely agree with him, because we are distancing ourselves so far from sports entertainment. They keep hyping the fact up that this is wrestling, this is real. They try and book it in the realest fucking sports manner that they can, not entertainment, sports. And you look at post shows, you've got the press conferences. It's not even like it's in kayfabe. Triple H is openly speaking about, well, he's going to hold this for that amount of time. Well, I'm going to give them their shot. When it turns up in their country, they'll be in that match. So how the fuck do you have pretty much what looked like a quadruple? Well, I don't even know what the
It looked like a horror film, you know. It looked like a murder-suicide. I was expecting Chris Benoit to appear. You've got Chad Gable lying out the back. And look, I'm not going to bury it, man. It was a cool visual effect. It is, but I mean, we've heard the WWE had the reality era, and the reality is there is no more characters. There is nothing like that. You don't get characters and gimmicks anymore in wrestling. You don't get supernatural stuff like The Undertaker. Hell, even simple things like Repo Man and Isaac Yankem. You don't get fucking bin men. You don't get so-called dentists. You don't get any of them. What we get now is just guys that wrestle in tights. Now, they give themselves catchphrases, they give themselves nicknames. Some people do have a personality, some people are funny or whatever. They all have their different sort of personalities, but there is no gimmicks, there is no characters. It's just guys that go into wrestle matches. Some win, some lose. So I just don't see how we can go from WWE treating it like it's a real sport, like it's a UFC, like it's boxing. That's pretty much the direction that WWE's been going in for a long time now. I don't know how you can go in that direction and then put something like this on the screen, the Wyatt Six or the Wyatt family, whatever they're calling themselves these days. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. For me, it just does not work.
It only works if you completely decide to go in that direction, but they won't. This will be the only 6 people on the roster with this gimmick. Right, and I'm not saying it has to be all the same gimmick, but it won't work, alright? And these guys will flop. I mean, obviously they're putting a wee bit more effort in than the Mark Briscoe over in AEW, but it kind of just feels like, here, this is the give Bo Dallas one we run here because his brother died. And that's what it feels like to me. But anyway, let's begin with the show begin.
Well, you know what? I mean, Bo Dallas has done hee-haw for like almost a decade now, so I'm alright giving the guy one chance. Triple H just gave out chances to fucking people worse than Bo Dallas.
No, I agree.
So you know what? I don't mind Bo Dallas getting an opportunity here, but I think this faction in a year will be disbanded.
In a year?
6 months, 3 months,
Fucking next week.
2 weeks. The masks will be lost, and you'll obviously have Bo Dallas as the leader, and everybody else will be jobbing out.
I need to interrupt, right? You know why I need to interrupt? Because you're talking about 6 months. See, on SmackDown, they probably won't even fucking reference what happened on Raw. And what, like you said, it looked like,
Chad Gable's dead, but on SmackDown,
there was a guy, I don't know who it was, right? He had it looked like a bullet hole in it, and
yeah,
there was
the
a
blood
massive,
splatter on the wall.
Fucking Dexter Morgan was about to walk in.
I mean, this just doesn't work though.
See next week on Raw, how much do you bet it kicks off with Strowman, Gable, and fucking, what do you call him, Bronson Reed for the qualifier for the money, even though 2 out of the 3 are dead.
Yeah, if this, there was who else is dead? Strowman backstage.
She was fucking conked out with a big blood splatter for himself.
I just seen a bunch of bodies. I couldn't really make. The only guy I could make out was Chad Gable. I thought everybody else looked like Seth Rollins dressed in Shield gear, but what did I know? Couldn't really see much. It was dark. It's just not going to work because you can't go from having a murder scene and then
You want to watch some wrestling?
Yeah, that just doesn't work. This legit looked like that people were murdered, and you know what? I mean, maybe with Jim Ross back in the day calling this, and if you're actually wanting to write fucking jobbers off by killing them, but it's going to go from wow, it looked like they just murdered the whole roster to let's have a technical wrestling match to see who's the better wrestler. That's what it's going to go to. There is no gimmicks, there is no characters, and one person can't. You can't. Someone can't have a gimmick on a roster when no one else has got gimmicks. It won't work.
No, it won't work. But
people will say, "Oh, but Undertaker worked because his character was built from an era where you had characters." Like Taker said, see if Taker debuted in the last 15 years. His character wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, it was the mistake past Karrion for the previous errors.
See if Kane, instead of debuting in 1997, see if he had debuted it in 2012, wouldn't have worked. These things just wouldn't have worked.
Right, anyway, let's go to the start of the show. So Seth Rollins returns. This feels about 2 decades ago, by the way.
Yeah, this
Raw's just too fucking long.
Yeah, this Raw was too. I mean, there's some good things on Raw, but it's you can't help yourself. You see something that's not bad, but then you get something that's really bad, and you look at the time, you're like, oh, for God's sake, still another 2.5 hours to go. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this was a mediocre start. Damian Priest is so monotone. Seth Rollins just repeats the same shit.
But it should be a big deal because, I mean, Seth Rollins, first time we've seen him since WrestleMania, but it just doesn't feel like a big return to me.
Now, we've already made a separate vid on it, but again, I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. I mean, why are they making it out though that it's like, oh, we haven't seen the guy in 6 years? It was 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's 2 months ago, mate, and he gets a shot.
No, but they do the same like when Orton came back on SmackDown there. I think it was the last time we've seen him in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Since he lost to Gunther, probably.
No, I don't understand, right? See, in wrestling now, a wrestler being gone for 2 to 3 weeks is pretty much the norm. That's the way Triple H has booked it, where's Gunther?
Oh, where is he?
So see if Gunther appears next week, are we going to make it as if, oh, it's shocking return of Gunther? That's the gimmick now. Triple H can talk about, AEW guys don't want to work hard, don't want to grind. Who's grinding in WWE? I mean, less house dates than ever. People just, I mean, look, champions sometimes get 3-4 pay-per-views off in a row. I mean, I don't think either set of male tag team titles have been defended on a premium live event since Mania, since they won them. How many times have they been defended on a Raw or SmackDown? Barely any. You just get people that will just not be there for no reason. Anyway,
it's official Money in the Bank. Rollins will win. That's my prediction. Right, Chad Gable enters Adam Pearce's office. This is just getting very old, this. Chad Gable recently signed a new contract. He loses against Braun Strowman here. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not alright for Gable and the Job Squad, but it's just dragged. How many times has Otis pushed him or stood up to him?
See if you'd never seen it before, and then for the first time ever tonight, you just see Otis pushing Chad Gable on his ass. I think it would have been like, oh, holy shit, wasn't expecting that. But
I know, but I say it every week. See every wrestling turn, right? During the good eras. They
came out of nowhere.
They didn't constantly just fucking repeat. See McMahon, seeing he revealed he was the higher power, did he half lift up the hood, then put it back down for next week? No, he fucking came out with it. See Kurt Angle, did he do a few laps around the ring before he came in and hit Austin with the belt at Survivor Series 2001? Did Triple H fucking... he put it Michaels in the balls and did the pedigree straight away. He didn't put him in the balls and hit with the pedigree next week.
Did they fucking, back in like 97, did they for like 3 months straight tease that they were going to screw Bret Hart out the fucking belt? You know what I mean? Like, no.
Did Kane wait to Hell in a Cell 98 to rip the fucking door off?
This would be like Kane's music, and he comes down to the ring. He climbs up onto the. He climbs up onto the, what do you call it, the ring apron, then looks at Taker and jumps back down and walks to the back. It does that for like 4 months in a row before finally entering the ring. It's like, whatever. So Otis pushes them down. They walk to the back. Chad Gable's like, where he's going, what he's doing, why he's leaving me. And then later on, we see again in the locker room, they pack their bags, they leave, and Chad Gable's just left there. And he says that he doesn't need them, and that he's going to enter into the Money in the Bank and become a champion and become a Money in the Bank briefcase holder. So is this the Alpha Academy broke up? I think it's lackluster, but it is. See the way they've been building it, you're expecting Otis to absolutely flip, and all he did was push him tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is the end of that.
The way they've been building it is as if Otis would have done what Uncle Howdy did and
like see if this is it. How anticlimactic is it? If this is like the end of the Alpha Academy.
And also see throughout tonight there was like wee hints about Uncle Howdy. Who gives a fuck? Oh, there was a QR code behind Otis's head backstage. I shouldn't need to search for a fucking QR code.
No, 3 a.m. in the morning, your eyes are falling out your head, but oh no, get your phone out, man. There's a QR code on the screen. Get that scanned.
Anyway, Judgment Day.
Come on, what we doing?
Carlito jokes. Oh, Dominic, you probably left your fest in Liv Morgan's hotel room, but apparently Finn Balor took the key card. It was funny scene with Pat McAfee, but
I like Pat McAfee. Does these? I mean, I can see why people would think Pat McAfee is annoying and they can't stand him, but you know what? I'll take somebody who's flamboyant and like overdoes it than someone who's just boring as fuck.
Which goes for half the roster.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the way he just like marks out and freaks out over things. We see Finn Balor steal the key card, and but then Michael Cole. I mean, as good as Pat McAfee is, Michael Cole then comes out and says, "We can't talk about what happened in that hotel room." It's Monday Night Raw. See when I just hear Michael Cole say it, that takes me out the game. It's not necessarily, but it's not necessarily right that you need them to talk about what happened. It's just the fact that Michael Cole lets you know we can't talk. This isn't really WWE Raw. You know, this is a show where we can make the odd joke, but we can't go deep into things.
Yeah, the arse pretty much collapsed for Cole.
What's the fucking point?
Right, up next with Io Sky, Vega, and Kiana James. Sloppy match.
This match was all over the place, man. There was like people dropping elbows, not selling it. Again, I think with women's wrestling, you add a third person into the mix and the match turns to shit.
It does.
I think unless you've got like 3 of the best workers in the women's division.
I think one of the first ones they did, I think it was at 32, Mania 32, between Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks.
That's probably the best one.
That's probably the best one they've done. I'd say it was near enough match.
No, I've noticed this. I think every single time the women add like a third or fourth person in, the match falls apart.
It does, but anyway, Io Sky wins. Alrighty, right. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, Sheamus segment up next. I just think this is crap. Sami Zayn bores his fucking tits at me. Braun Breaker's like, I don't need to speak, I want your title. Sheamus comes out and he's like, I'm going to have banger after banger. Fuck up, why can't you just say you're going to win the title? Oh, why is Sheamus' objective to have banger after banger? Who the fuck can we... Yo, the motive in wrestling should be to win titles, and if you put on bangers while doing it, then fucking fair enough. It shouldn't be to... well, it doesn't really matter if I win the belt, because it was a good match we had.
I know, but...
like, yeah, you might have got the odd time, like, oh, here, the better man won, they shake hands on it, or something. Like, after a pay-per-view, when wrestling was fucking good. Sheamus is out here marking out after a throwaway match on fucking Speed. I'm putting on banger after banger, fella.
Right, well, let's just go. The match gets made official, so we get that match. Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't exactly say it was a banger.
But what is... what's the guy? What's he called?
Ludwig Kaiser comes out and he attacks Sheamus. He hits Sheamus' leg on the ring post when it looked like Sheamus was going to go for a brogue kick. So, I mean, we get Braun Breaker destroying people last few weeks, 3 weeks, month, which has been good. But tonight, the way this finish was done, I mean, it made you believe that Sheamus was moments away from beating Braun Breaker until Ludwig Kaiser made the save, and I just think that's unnecessary. You could have had Ludwig Kaiser attack Sheamus without making it look like Breaker was beat.
No, you could have. And let's talk about Gunther. So why is he not on the show? I'll tell you why he's not on the show, right? One is
nothing for it. Well, he can't cut a promo, can he?
Yeah, that's going to be.
He's not going to build up the SummerSlam match.
No, he's fucking awful, Gunther. You know what? You laugh when I said his promos.
The nipples are hard.
No, not the way you laughed at that. But you laugh when I said he's just as bad as Ricochet, right? At promos, I tell you what, is he fucking far off him? If you honestly think of it. Because this guy's going to be portrayed as like a main eventer monster, and he couldn't.
Here, Ricochet's probably better at promos. The only thing that Gunther's got from is the foreign accent. Sometimes when you got a foreign accent and you speak in English, it just sounds good.
It just sounds good, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean, though.
You know what I mean with the nipples. Anyway, we've got Spicky Nipples taking on Jacked Up Nipples. It's Dragon Lee against Carlito.
Michael Cole was freaking out because tonight he gets to watch Dragon Lee on Monday Night Raw.
There was too much going on in this match.
Really? We have Judgment Day out there. We have Rey Mysterio out there. We got a jobber member of the LWO. I don't know where the other guy is. Could be released. Wouldn't matter a dime. Liv Morgan comes out to confront Dom, and Dom just has to stand there because there's nothing he can do really. Selena Vega attacks her from behind. And then this is a cue for everyone to start brawling. Dragon Lee climbs to the middle rope. JD McDonough pulls him down. He gets straddled on the top rope. And then Carlito with a backbreaker, backstabber. 1, 2, 3. Carlito actually picks up a win. Might be his first win since returning to WWE, to be honest, because I don't recall many Carlito wins, but
neither do I.
Carlito win is pretty cool.
Drew McIntyre comes out, says, CM Punk, I can't do this anymore. Screw this company, I quit. He fucks off to the back. He runs into Triple H. Triple H is trying to talk him over it. You can't see any of them. It's like pitch fucking black. And then Adam Pearce like, I'll deal with it. Hold on, Triple H is the fucking owner. He's the chairman of the board.
Yeah, I mean...
Why is Adam Pearce dealing with it? And he's in mouse mode. You can't even hear what he's saying.
I think it would have looked better if Triple H dealt with it, because then it just seems more serious.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't... It just,
would McMahon have sent fucking Patterson to deal with Austin? Like if when Austin took his ball and went home? No, I think he would have dealt with it himself.
Fucking Pat Patterson. Bet he took a few balls in his lifetime. Anyway,
and a few swords.
Took them home as well. The Celtic sword. Anyway,
it's some real body work done.
Aye, so Drew McIntyre. I mean, look, I get it, but I can't even say it's a good moment.
Do you not think it's mad though? Like they flew all the way from Glasgow to fucking Texas just for him to come out and say about 7 words and fuck off.
I know people are going to say this is great, but see, at the end of the day, I was actually expecting a really good response from McIntyre to CM Punk, and all he did was quit, but we know he hasn't quit, so therefore what did he do? Absolutely nothing.
I think it's wee bit better than just a response, because if Punk can't work the SummerSlam...
No, I don't. I want to hear Drew say I'm going to fucking kill you or something along those lines.
Yeah, but then if he says that, then it just dies. I think you get 2 months of nothing. But then Punk's on SmackDown. I don't know.
I mean, could this be Drew McIntyre getting people?
Could he be quitting Raw to go to SmackDown?
Could be. I mean, he could be trying to let everybody's guard down. Everyone thinks he's walked away, and then
I'll tell you what, SmackDown needs as fucking much help as it can get.
Aye,
and Punk and Drew switching kind of deflates Raw, but anyway,
they're hardly switching full time. Like it's for 1 week.
No, but if he's quit Raw, maybe he can go to SmackDown. Maybe that's a loophole in the brand.
I thought it was just a fake quit, so people don't expect him to be on SmackDown, and he's going to turn it to nowhere. And then they can make it like he's not been there for 4 months or something. That's the WWE way.
That's 4 days, right? Damage control against Katana Chance and Caden Carter. Katana Chance and Caden Carter win after the match. I was like, Thing need to change for damage control.
So yeah, you get, what's her name? What's the other one that can speak English? No, the one that can speak English.
Io Sky?
No, the one that can speak English.
Alright.
Jesus Christ, the one that's no Japanese.
Dakota Kai?
Dakota Kai, that's the one.
It still sounds a bit Japanese, doesn't it?
It does actually a wee bit. So she's obviously, I don't know what happened out there. She's like confused and that she doesn't believe that. How did we lose? What's going on? What happened? Then you got Io Sky. Oh, damage control. We need to change. If you don't change, me change it. Oh. And she just like walks off. And then you've got Kairi Sane, who.
Good day, mate.
I mean, she's Japanese as well.
I know, but I was more about Dakota Kai.
Was she Australian?
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking sound it. So anyway, you've got
Foster's, good call.
Io Sky. Damage control need to change. I will change it myself. Oh. Doing that shite, whatever. And I mean, that's it. And you're thinking, this is a shite faction. Seeing you lose to Katana Chance and Caden Carter.
Did they not like? Did this this faction's existed for 3 years? Is it not time to call it a fucking day?
Just break it up.
See, no, but see in the wrestling history, like factions don't really last that long. I mean, Evolution's got it, and it didn't last long. The peak of the NWO didn't really last long.
What? Nobody ready for Asuka. Where is Asuka? Where is she?
Injured. Just came out of surgery. Anyway,
she'd be better off sticking to the cooking on YouTube. Probably gets more views.
Probably gets more views that way. Probably better at cooking than she is at fucking wrestling. Oh, that guy that loves Asuka's going to be in the comment section. Well, fuck you, buddy. Right, anyway.
Asuka, I've actually watched her cook it. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Well, yeah. Probably more entertaining than fucking half of wrestling these days, but
nobody ready for my cooking. I don't know. Anyway,
Dominic Mysterio, he's in need of a burrito. He's walking backstage and he sees Liv Morgan wearing his vest. She's like, the only way you're getting this if you unsip it off me.
And then she gives him a little helping hand. She sips it down, and then Dominic goes to sip it down the rest of the way, and big Damian Priest himself walks down from the back. And you know what? See, think about it. What's it to fucking Damian? No, seriously, you're the world champ. Why is this guy bothered about who fucking Dominic wants to date? No, but like, I mean, this guy should be more worried about defending his belt against Seth Rollins. He should be more worried about SummerSlam with Gunther. He should be worried about the fact that Money in the Bank is coming up and that somebody's going to win a briefcase and can cash in at him at any time, right? This guy...
Do you think it's because Dominic...
He should also be worried...
Maria, or do you think it's because, Dominic, you're losing your focus and that's weakening us?
No, he also should be worried about the fact he can't beat Drew McIntyre clean. He's a paper champion, but he's more concerned about Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Why? Oh, it's going to upset Mommy, going to upset Rhea Ripley. Who gives a shit?
And then when he tells
you're the world champ,
he tells her to back down, no, and he's like, "Here, Liv, it would be good if you just kind of left him alone, wouldn't it?"
Yeah, this is pathetic. I mean, I know that in wrestling, especially in WWE, I mean, we're not going to see Damian Priest fucking clench his fist and knock Liv Morgan out. Not expecting that, but are we really at the level? Are we really beyond the possibility of Damian Priest half verbally threatening Liv Morgan?
Is it not mad though if he was walking down this wee corridor and he went, "I identify as a woman," he could just stick a fucking head clean through Liv Morgan and no one would.
He could have done what the Wyatt family done to the people in the back, blood splatter against. But because he at this moment in time identifies as a male, he can't even threaten. He can't even tell her to back off. It's the way he's the world champ and he's asking her nicely. Can you please leave Dominic alone, Liv Morgan? What the fuck?
Anyway, I was cross at that, but it's Karrion Kross time. I went to take a piss while this was on, so you take it away. I don't know what happened.
Alright, so Karrion Kross spoke about the fact that his guys...
Yeah, see you at 3 hours, so what a perfect time to take a piss.
That was a good timing,
when this prick shows up.
So, he talks about how Offers of Pain beat the New Day a few weeks ago, and then the New Day cost his boys Offers of Pain last week. And then he, for once, was on the receiving end of a beatdown because last week it was 2-on-1, the New Day against him. And he said he was going to do something tonight that would get him put away in prison for life. But Scarlett talked him out of it. So he wants to know how he would fare one-on-one with one members of the New Day. They leave their boy behind. He leaves his boys behind. But he hopes that Kofi accepts the challenge because the New Day like to see Woods in the back. And that was it. Then we cut to Kofi Kingston and Woods, and they 50-50 do a promo with Kofi saying, I'll accept your challenge. And Woods had a little bit of he was giving Kofi the side eye. So again, this is like slow shit where, Woods in 6 months' time might attack Kofi Kingston and everyone will claim Triple H was cooking because Kofi Kingston got side-eyed by Xavier Woods 6 months ago because Kofi's the one that accepted the challenge and Woods didn't get to do it.
Yeah,
that's what happened there.
I just had a lot of words there, but it's just a load of shite at the end of the day.
Well, that's what it was. It was shit.
Yeah, it was shite.
I could have just skipped over it, not talked about it, but that's what happened.
Anyway, the sands of time are running out. With Jey Uso, Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, 3 guys, 3 very similar physiques, 3 very similar match styles. Jey Uso 2 weeks ago announced he was in this match, so why does he have to qualify? No need to fear, he wins anyway.
But you know what? Jey Uso, I'll give him credit, his entrance, he's over with, the crowd, see the in crowd. Anytime he comes out, the people are going mental, they've got the lights on, the flashlights and stuff like that, and they're doing the whole yeet. He is popular, I would say, out of all the wrestlers. He's definitely one of the most, interactive in the. You look at Jey, you think, holy Knox. Said to me earlier, when was the last time somebody won with a move off the top rope? But I think 3 matches tonight were won with moves off the top rope, so there you go. We get that. Jey Uso celebrates down since day one. Yeah, I've been down since day one. Yeah. So he goes to the back, and then the lights go down, and we get the Bray Wyatt music, and we all know what's coming now. It's the Wyatt family. We see Nikki Cross. I'm assuming this is Nikki Cross. I
believe it's Nikki Cross, Bo Dallas, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, and I don't know who the other 2 are, right? But, they can't be much worse or better than those 4.
Yeah. Everyone says Triple H is cooking. He fucking dropped the ball with Dexter Lumis.
No, he did.
Dexter was doing... Him and The Miz was some of the best stuff on Raw. It was the only good thing on Raw for a period. And what did they do with him? Nothing. I guarantee you Dexter Lumis will just be a background character on this. He'll be a jobber. He'll be a guy to eat pins. That's not better than being on his own.
Yeah. Well, we've already touched upon what happened here. Essentially, there's
it's a murder scene. It's
50
a murder.
Bodies backstage.
It's like a murder scene.
Incapacitated at best. No, but, you could label this review, right? Oh, double murder, whatever, right? I remember I labelled the draft, Benoit at the draft. Because the crowd were chanting Benoit when he was number 1 pick, and some guy commented, "This is clickbait." What was he fucking thinking? Did he think Benoit was going to appear at the draft 17 years later? People need to wake up and smell the coffee, man. Come on, clickbait. Guy's been dead 17 years.
Clickbait would be, holy shit, this show was awesome. You need to hear our review.
Yeah. As for this, though, we all know, right, that Chicago on Friday is going to kick off with CM Punk, and he's going to talk about Drew McIntyre. He's not going to talk about the 50 bodies that dropped. If he did, he'd probably be referring to Chicago rather than fucking Monday Night Raw. But that's what it is.
But, it'd just be good if people that, say Ricochet, for example, last week they writ him out by getting stretchered off in an ambulance. What if somebody actually was leaving, their contract was expiring, and then we actually had the Wyatt family kill somebody? An actual murder. But they can't do that because wrestling's so far away from that. But,
star.
In the Attitude Era in the 90s, you could have had somebody get written out that way.
Yeah.
Lucha Underground had somebody get killed as a way of writing them off TV.
It doesn't need to be as extreme as killing them, but, But what this looked like, you've got no names with, bullet holes in their forehead and blood. We're not talking a bit of blood.
No, we're talking motionless here. It's not like they were laying on the ground, groaning, and
this is.
They were up, fucking just laying. It looked like that. It did look like they were dead.
This is the correct way to use blood for me. But what I don't get is why don't we get way more blood than what we get? It's we've only they've started using it more frequently, definitely over the last couple of years, but we're still no. See, back in the day, man, you used to get it. Maybe not every week, but every other week, I'd say.
Looking back now, I think you could make a case that maybe we got blood too much.
Well, no, yeah.
See, looking back at wrestling, I will admit that, looking back in the Ruthless Aggression era, Attitude era, I think you could make a case that you got blood too much, but back then, people were taking shots to the head with chairs, with monitors. People were in steel cage matches, Hell in a Cell match, so you did need the blood for that. It's not like that ring post spot where people would get catapulted into the ring post. Yeah, you could argue maybe they did that spot too often, but I think once you do that spot, then you kind of have to commit to blood.
No, I agree.
So I don't think they overused blood in terms of blood wasn't necessary for that spot. What I would say is maybe they did too many spots back in the day that required blood.
So Joe Gacy is Huskus the Pig. That is the final confirmed member.
Joe fucking Gacy.
So it's the Wyatt 6, but there's only 5 of them.
It's not quite Joe Hendry, is it?
Joe Hendry. But again, I just don't really know what the end game is for this. Here, was this a cool ass visual to end the show?
Yes.
It was. But we have to rate the show on what it was, but we just know on Friday. And you can't pretend on SmackDown that, see if the brand split was alive, right? I could almost half accept it if they didn't even half acknowledge it. You know, remember McMahon died on Raw? Then on ECW and SmackDown, they were like, fucking condolences for the chairman of the board.
Aye, and the brand split was real back then.
But you know if CM Punk comes out, he'll just talk about McIntyre.
And not the murder scene that we had on Raw.
Yeah, and that's where I think there's a problem. You know, Cody Rhodes is like, Cody Rhodes is kick off the show. Well, what do you want to talk about? What about the 50 dead bodies, mate?
Yeah, Cody, do you think we want to talk about your shitey, boring title reign? Or do we want to talk about the fact that the Wyatt family massacred everybody backstage in production? I mean, it's a bit obvious what we want to talk about. I don't know.
The only correct way for SmackDown to begin, right, is someone addressing it, or the show begins in the gorilla, and they're all in the exact same position, even though it wouldn't make much sense.
They just lifted the bodies for tonight to Chicago. Here, you already get a lot. You get a lot of dead bodies in Chicago anyway.
Why can't SmackDown begin in a graveyard with everyone that was backstage fucking getting buried?
Well, here you are. Chad Gable's not going to win a title anyway, so he may as well bury the guy. I mean,
Bronson Reed wins by default because it's two competitors.
The other two guys are, well, who knows? The other two guys are done. I mean...
You can say Undertaker would overshadow this group because fucking obviously he would. But can Undertaker not work as a manager? Or like a guy that doesn't wrestle?
I think Undertaker's beyond that, like...
Oh, come on.
Nah.
No, alright then.
Nah, Undertaker's had his time. I think it's time for Taker just... Doesn't need these fucking bums. Undertaker working with these guys. Undertaker's an attraction on his own. Fucking doesn't need the Wyatt family.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what Wyatt whispered in Undertaker's ear that time on Raw. Do you want to be the 6th member?
Maybe it was.
That could be it.
Was he predicting his own death?
I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway, am I predicting the death of Raw tonight? I mean, not really. There was some decent things on it, but you feel like for every decent thing, there was a bad thing. But, I mean, it was a cool ending. I'm not going to deny that. You had Drew McIntyre quit. Wasn't really expecting that. Seth Rollins returned. That was pretty cool.
I mean, I think the bad outweighs the good, so I'll give it a 4 out of 10, right?
I'll get a 5.
But you know what? I think...
Better than SmackDown.
Yeah, I think Raw's been consistently the best show, easily. But, it makes Raw next week must watch. I would go as far as saying that. But if SmackDown doesn't address it properly, it's like, well, then Raw's just so much like, what are we doing?
Can't believe we're saying Raw's must watch. Like,
no, well, come on. If half the
I agree with you. When was the last time WWE was must watch? I know you could argue all the Rock stuff, but I mean,
but you need stuff like this. You need
it's a cliffhanger,
mystery shite.
Remember Raw a couple of months? Was it last month? It just ended with fucking Gunther laying on his back.
No, but that is the problem, though.
Fucking no, and then we criticised it, and people were like, "Oh, the ending wasn't even that bad." How can you end Raw with Gunther just having JSO in a chokehold? He wins, he lets go, and then the Raw logo pops up. How can you end Raw like that one week and then you end it like this week, where you've got like this new faction that look like they've absolutely massacred half the locker room?
No, and that's why it just doesn't work. You need you need to fucking draw the line somewhere.
The negative thing I will say is, I mean, how long has this been in the works? How long have they been hyping this up? How long have they been doing these QR codes and all this stupid shit where you need to scan it and sign it and go and watch these like 9-second promo clips? This has just been dragged out. Again, see if we weren't expecting this group for like over a year now, would this impact no have felt bigger?
I think it would have.
If
You would have been like, it would have been completely unexpected. And you knew something was happening, right? The match ended with like 7 minutes to 4. So
Yeah.
you knew something was happening that way. Anyway, yeah, 4.5 out of 10. Intriguing. But you know what's good? When was the last thing in wrestling that they actually followed up on? And the thing they followed up on was actually better than the thing they actually followed up on? If you catch my drift? Like, when was the week after better than the week before when something was good?
Been a long time.
It's been a long ass fucking time. But anyway, guys, till next time. Peace.